Peace, my family. How y'all doing out there today? I hope you guys are doing good. I came on here today to share another clip from Dr. Malachi New York's book called Man from Planet Rizq. And I wanted to share a question and answer. And this question is, you have been teaching undisputed facts for about 25 years now. How did you manage to learn and teach so much information for the amount of years you have? Question. And this is Dr. Malachi Ziyark's answer. I am a being from the 19th galaxy called Eluan. We have been coming to this planet before it had your life formed on it. I manifest into this body to speak through this body. I am an entity, an etheric being. We watched the 3 other cycles of 18,000 years, 2 moons, and 1 sun cycle, which is part of your 24,000 year cycle, the equinox, the removal of the dust cloud from the light to the darkness, and then to the light again. I incarnated into this room from time to time, and my incarnation as an avatar was originally in the year 1945 AD. In order to get here, I traveled by one of the smaller passenger crafts called a sham out of the mother plane called Merkaba or Nibiru. Then in 1970 AD was my time to come in the flesh to start my work of breaking the spell of sleep, also called the spell of Leviathan or Kingu, the moon spell or lunatic state of mind with the power as the Son of Righteousness, Malachi 4:2. Earth astronomers thought it was a comet, which they called Bennett, that arrived on March 16, 1970 AD, 4 months before my 25th birthday. June 26, 1970 AD, the opening of the 7th seal, which marked the beginning of the Aquarian Age. An astrophysicist named Riccardo Cycloni said up or sent up a satellite from Kenya, Africa in the year 1970 AD to study X-rays in the sky for 3 years, trying to map out our coming. The satellite was called Uriaru, which is the African language called Shiwiana or Shiwiala is freedom, which the Shiwiaha or Shiwiali is made from the 2 different languages called Bantu and Arabic. That was a language created for the slave trades that occurred in Zuni Zimbar between the Arabs or the Arabs, and the scientists, which were aware of our coming and called us Bennett. I, Yanun, or Yanan, am an Anunnaki, or what you would call an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrials look at this word. The word extraterrestrial, extra meaning in addition to, terra meaning of the earth, and estrial, which means of or from the stars. I am what you call an angelic being, an Elohim from the eighth planet called Rizq, which has one moon, Shishinkun or Shishinkwan of its own. This galaxy, the 19th galaxy calledElyuan, originally referred to as heaven, known as in Greek Shamash, U2, and Epsu, which is the three suns, which means this is a tri-solar system with 38 moons and 19 planets, each with its own number of moons. I have incarnated here in this form to act as a human being for the sole purpose of saving the children of the Elohim, the Anunnaki. Bennett, the Bennett, which is the same word as Bennett, the chosen 144,000. Just as Mary of 2,000 years ago was chosen by the Most High anew, called an alien, or which is alien or alien, and in meaning and, both of which are names of Anu, to breathe the holy thing called Yahshua or Jesus. Real name is Tammuz, called Horus. So too, Bennett, the Bennett, will breed the Savior of this time. If they hold firm to the rope on your planet, Earth, the planet is also referred to as Orb, Arid, Ki, Terra, or even Tamawat, and Tamahut or Tamtu, meaning martyr or maiden of life. Maiden of life. However, it was originally called Tammuz. I, Yanun, have come to save the children of the Elohim and Anunnaki from being killed as you bring your planet near to what you would call or could be its total destruction. Some of the destruction of the planet is caused by the warming up of the globe because of the excessive amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is helping to melt the polar ice caps, and this is called the entropy effect, which is rising of the water level all over the globe. Entropy is a property of matter used by scientists in connection with the thermodynamics, which is the study of heat and work. This entropy of a substance increases whenever the energy is possessed to do work decreases. The example of stream entering into a turbine has a low degree of entropy because it can do work by moving the turbine shaft. After moving the shaft, and the energy of the stream has decreased, and thus its entropy has increased. The total entropy of the universe is increasing because in time all the matter tends to lose available energy, and it is also used as a measure of internal discord or disorder in a substance, a law of thermodynamics. That's the reason why there are so many floods in the United States. For example, many floods on the East Coast and fires burning on the West Coast, which has become very dry from the lack of water. The melting of the ice caps is causing the waters to shift more to one side of the planet, and that is already on a 23 axis or degree axis, and already wobbling in its rotation instead of rotating smoothly. The water from the North and the South Pole will rush towards the equator, which would throw off the equilibrium of the planet, resulting with global hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, volcanic eruptions. The volcanic eruptions alone already cause faults and splinters in the Earth's surface, making the inflexible crystalline rock, and these plates beneath the surface slide back and forth and snag, and occasionally causing earthquakes. There can be a small amount of survivors when this takes place at a certain pivot points because the remaining parts of the globe will be devastated, and inhabitants on the surface will be eliminated. Refer to Mission Earth and extraterrestrial involvement. On May 5th of the year 2000 AD, there was an alignment of the planets. And on August 12th, 2023 AD, when the four peaks of the planet biorhythms, the Earth's magnetic field will peak at its done every 40 years, and these biorhythms occur and the vertex opens to other dimensions, and then on to January 26th in the year 2003 AD, Nibiru will be entering near the astral belt, and this will not only affect your galaxy, which now consists of 11 other planets besides Tenth, or Earth, but could cause a stark holocaust. Now, all of these planets in your solar system should be drawn into the sun, and this would be or cause effect on other galaxies. The planet, which is the 12th member, or the 20th member of the solar system, only passes through the solar system every 3,600 Earth years, from the original or the Orion star constellation or the Orion galaxy. It is important for me at this time to give you a depth explanation of just exactly who I am or and what I'm not. If you have the time to read, you will learn that I, the author of this book and hundreds of others, I am not by any means an original man. I am a seeded entity and I was pre-encoded to awaken at an appointed time. That means that my DNA structures were genetically designed to go off like a time bomb of awareness. As I designed at a designated moment in order to accommodate the light being, the ether being that would succumb into this current human body. Born 12 a.m. or 12 midnight, Tuesday, June 26, 1945 AD, here on the planet Key, Earth. His body, like all other human beings, was not able to handle all the light knowledge coming into the planet. The time for genetic birth was 1970 AD and had initiation in the year late 60s, and I interpreted it as El Kador, who was Murdoch, and it turned out I was a product of an abduction. This could be found in the study of the pamphlets The Sons of Green Light. On one still night, I was walking along from the Rutland Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, and I said, I'll walk instead of taking the bus. Just coming home from work at Francis D. Wong Stock Exchange at One Wall Street. I got off on the D train from Coney Island, which I stopped off first and decided to walk to 2525 Bedford Avenue where my brother lived. That is between Beverly Road and Clarendon Avenue. It was around 10 p.m. and I perceived the presence of a superior being with me. I turned around and I saw no one, but I began to fear inside. Then suddenly a voice that sounded as if it were talking from me and through me at the same time sounded my name, saying, Fear not, for you shall be the bearer of torch of light in the west and shall save many souls. And you are yet a baby, but you shall mature into a man more rapidly than you ever have imagined. Do not be afraid, for I am about to manifest. Startled and overwhelmed and frightened and bewaddled, I cannot believe that this was happening. Suddenly I felt a warm sensation 2 inches above my navel, and feeling of love shot inward towards the center of my chest from my solar plexus, and then a tingling feeling centered between my eyes. Immediately a crystal of green and white rays of light slowly appeared, and there he stood, magnificently. However, how can I make you feel what I felt? How can I make you see what I see? He was strong, he was powerful, and he was glowed or ground into what seemed to be like a whitish green flowing robe. And there was a glow about him I have never seen in any other person, a sparkling bright as the stars. I looked into his eyes and I was no longer afraid, For in his eyes I saw death, I saw warmth, I saw compassion, I saw tenderness, understanding, and kindness. I knew I was safe in his presence. He made me feel comfortable and secure. He spoke, and his voice was like as the voice of angels. He said, "Your soul has lived over 76 trillion years, and you have witnessed many cycles, and now you have begun to grow. You are of the ancient ones, and you may not at this time understand what this means, but at but at time passes, you'll begin to grow from your inner self outward, and you'll begin to perceive and understand these things. And the spirit of your Father has awaited its rebirth into this earth plane, and now it is your calling." This started when I was a child. I had beings that would come and play with me, and then adults of my family told me they weren't there. I knew they were real, but they were the people. And I named one of them Henry, meaning people. Many people have been abducted or communicated by extraterrestrials when they were children. But until other people are found with the same experiences, these people who have had UFOs or extraterrestrial encounters are usually the loners. Extraterrestrials study these people because they have a new emotion that can be tapped and added to their children that gives them a better understanding of emotions, and time is running out. We call it now a bend in space occurred, and there was a glorious cloud of light, and this is called a dimensional shift in time and space. Emotion was put into motion, and these abnormal, sometimes something that is abnormal or different from the normal, we was being experienced. Being experienced on your planet at that very moment. Most people had this feeling or a nagging sense that there wasn't as much time as there was, or that it used to be. This was usually expressed as, "Man, isn't time flying?" The reason for this feeling less time is because there is less time. Now is an exact event of removing the spell of sleep. And from that point in time on, became now, or now is the time for all good people to come. Now does not refer to simply to living in the present days and times, although it is strongly recommended that when a dimensional shift occurred, time began to collapse to create a new dimensional shift space that is collapsing to create a new dimensional time. So beings from other dimensions can come through clouds in this three-dimensional world. I come from a nine-dimensional world. In other words, the time and space relation is linked to human and Earth's bio rhythm, and determines how many dimensions from which world, in your case a three-dimensional reality, is for grabs. Now is an exact event, as I said before, and it does not just refer to living in the present moment, although that is also reality. I'm talking about a time wrapped or time warped. It's really truly occurring and will continue to accelerate from 1970 AD until now, and it's fully reached, which is like when it hits August 12th, 2003 AD, when the vertex will open and the dimensions can finally interface, which, like in the third point of the Philadelphia experience or experiment in August 12, 1943 AD, which dwelt with the time continuance and called the 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 Project Rainbow. Then on into 1983 AD, when it was called the Phoenix Project. In the fourth part of the experiment, in August 12, 1983 AD, it was then called Phoenix 1, which locked in the hyperspace into time zones, which one in 1943 AD and the other in 1983 AD, which going into 40 years apart. In the same time, August 12, 1963 AD, the point locked. And so 13 years back from 1983 AD gives you 1970 AD. So it's 7 years from 1963 AD when the seventh seal was opened and the grand landing, the building of the equipment to create the time machine. And after 13 years of all this ready again, they locked, and there was more now, and there was now. It's now, and the time is now, and it's on its way. And I state the time is now. We are reminding you of your genetic agreement as well as being literal. So the genetic shift is taking place, and children are being born with their Bartholin gland, and even some adults are waking up with it reimplanted, and the time is truly now. Another interesting aspect of this is that your DNA codes were set up to go off now, before your soul left, as you may have noticed, that did not occur at your birth or at any other time until now that you read, which I teach of the awakening, and that's now. Even though you have lived through many nows, and the degrees of your awakening is in direct relation to the degree of now, and that you are experiencing, because I am here with you now, and that determines the awakening. Before I became aware of my mission, before my DNA opened up to me, I was unaware of who I was and how I was going to go about fulfilling my mission. I was in a state of unconsciousness. My chest has been expanded so that I can take on the burdens of the world, filled with the spirit of Murdoch, who is also called the Archangel Michael, and in religion, who speaks through me. You shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. John 8:32. These truths have and will release you from your fear of devils and renew your faith in the Elohim, and erase the lies and release the oppression that has enslaved you your once highly intellectual mind. My character has been molded to perfection, and I possess the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding needed to raise the 144,000. That is the end of his answer. So, I'm going to leave it at that. And let y'all know, it's all love, family, and peace.